Hello, welcome to Life Watch. Today I want to talk about retirement and what steps you can take to ensure that you have enough money for retirement. First off, most places these days and most places today don't have a pension anymore. Our grandparents and some of our parents had pensions as they were working, and after 20, 30 years, they could start drawing a pension. Such things just don't exist anymore. Unfortunately, we don't have that option at most places. If your company you work with does offer a pension, that's awesome. Maybe if you're a police officer or a school teacher, something like that, they still offer a pension. But your average workers, no. So retirement's kind of on our hands. So instead of pensions, most places do offer a 401k. So preparing for retirement, one, start as young as you possibly can. Saving for retirement and investing. The first thing you need to do if your company offers a 401k is put in the max you can to that they will match. So say company I used to work for, they match the first percent 100%, they match the next 5% at 50%. So basically you put in 6, you would get the max return for them, which would be 3.5. So you would get a total of 9.5% of your gross income put into your 401k. What I personally did is I went ahead and put in 6.5, so I got a rounded number of 10. It was just easier to track as I was trying to plan out how much money I'd have for retirement. And then on your 401k, if they have a regular 401k or if they have Roth, if you have the Roth option, you should always take it. The younger, especially younger. Now, if your income is right on that borderline that puts you in a different tax bracket, you may want to do a traditional. Because if it's going to save you a bunch of taxes now that you can still invest, then you need to do that. But that's kind of situational depending on your income. So we're going to say a nice round number, you make $50,000 a year. We're going to put in our 6.5% and we're going to get 3.5 back just so we have a nice round 10%. If we were going into a regular traditional 401k, 10%, that would be $5,000 a year. That's not very much. That's not really enough to cut it, to be honest with you. Unless you are like 18, making $50,000 a year, which isn't likely, then it's probably not going to be enough by the time you're 60 to 65 to retire. So I believe you need to have 2 or 3 streams that you're putting money into for retirement. First is the 401k, and I would do the Roth if you can. Now the difference between a Roth and traditional is the Roth is you pay taxes now and you don't pay taxes on the amount earned. And your traditional is you don't pay taxes now, but you pay taxes when you withdraw it. So if you have a traditional, then it counts off, say you make $50,000 a year, but you put $5,000. So if you did put $5,000 of your own money in, that would drop you into the lower tax bracket and have to pay taxes on $45,000. That's where if you're on that borderline mark on tax brackets, it might be better to do the traditional. Okay, so say we're going to invest into retirement. Do pretty high risk the younger you are. As you get older, you want to kind of slow it up a little bit. Right now, actually, the stock market is not doing well. There's talks of possible recession in 2019, but you still should consistently invest. No matter what recession or whatever it hits, it always eventually comes back. All right. Plus, if you had a huge lump of money, I wouldn't just throw it into retirement or into a stock right now. But weekly, making small investments over time, it adds up pretty quickly. All right. So our first stream is going to be our 401k. So we're going to make $50,000 a year. We're going to put 6.5 in. Company's going to put 3.5. So we got a total of 10. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put that into a Roth as well. Now, what your company matches will have to go into traditional. But what you put in can already be taxed and go into a Roth. So, of that 6.5%, you have to pay taxes on it now. That's going to be less money going in than the $5,000. But we're just going to use the $5,000 as a good benchmark to try to calculate our money by. All right. So secondary, I'm sorry. What I want to do is take 10% of your bring home after taxes and put that into a Roth IRA and invest it. Younger you are, the more high risk you take. All right, so you say we'll do the 50,000. So you're going to bring home 2,600 ish, somewhere 2,500 a month. So that's $250 a month. You would invest into a separate account that's not your 401k into IRAs, Roth IRA, and this will build up over time as well. And you're already going to have taxes taken out of that. So the time you retire, your taxes should mostly be paid. Now, what your company matches won't be on there. And if you have any other types of retirement, like for me, I worked for a company that did profit sharing, and we got stock option every year. All right, I was with that company for 10 years, and ended up with a pretty good chunk in retirement that I didn't have to put anything into. It was just given to me from the company. Ended up being a little over $70,000. It's currently frozen. After I left the company, you can't touch it for 5 years. It's stuck with them, which is pretty good since I think we're getting ready to hit another recession, because this company is very, very diverse. They don't jump a lot, but they don't fall a lot. Actually, since I've been with the company from 2007 to 2018, their stock never went down. Now, it may not went up very much. I remember one year it was only went up 30 cents a share. But at least we didn't lose anything. So, I have that, but I'll have to pay taxes on that. And my plan is they pay it to you over 5 payments over 5 years. So it takes 10 years total once you leave the company to get the money, unless you retire from the company. But when I start getting that money in 3.5, 4 years, to put that money into a IRA. That would be traditional though. Okay, so I'll have to pay taxes on that money at the end. That's going to be a small percentage of my retirement. The way I figured that, it's $70-something thousand now. By the time I'm 60, we're looking at, I think, $170,000 to $200,000. So it's only going to be, a fraction that I'll have to pay on. And what you do is, say you have $1 million in retirement by the time you are 60. Say 20%, $200,000 is traditional. Then when you withdraw your money out of your non-tax, you take 80%. And then what you got to live on, take 80% out of the Roth, 20% out of your traditional. That way you only pay taxes on that 20%. So say you're living on, let's say $50,000 a year. You want to continue there. You'll take $40,000 that you don't pay taxes, and you pay taxes on $10,000. So on $10,000, you only have to pay like $2,000 or so in taxes that year, which is much less than you've paid throughout your life, and you'll have more of that money. All right. And then it's always good to have another stream as well. Of course, you have Social Security, and that could be your third option that you can draw at 62, 65. I think the max right now is 67 to be able to draw that. But I wouldn't count on Social Security. I don't think that's going to be enough. So I think for the third option is you need a rental house. All right, you need to get it in your 30s probably. So you have your home and your rental house. The rental house shouldn't be more than twice the household income, just like your house shouldn't be. And that way, and it should be in a neighborhood, in an area where you can rent it for more than the payments are. You need to go ahead and try to put 20% down on that, at least 10%, to get the payments even lower. But if you're able to put your 20% down, we'll round it to a $100,000 house. You put 20% down, okay? So you finance $80,000. Payments and everything shouldn't be more than $550, depending on your interest rate. And in the area where I'm at now, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house will rent for $1,000, $1,100. And you can get one for between 100 and 120. They go up quite a bit more, but you can find them still for around that price range. So you can have that income right there, where the money will come in from the rental property. You'll be able to make the payment as long as it's rented. Make the payment, pay your taxes and insurance on it, and actually should have just a little bit extra. The extra needs to go ahead and pay down the principal of that home, okay? So that it pretty much is self-sufficient. Now when the extra comes in, you build that up to have about a 2 to 3 month cushion. That way, if somebody moves out, then you have a little bit of money there to keep the payment coming out and keeping the insurance up and taxes on it all up while it's vacant. All right, because when somebody moves out, you're gonna have to find time to paint it, clean it up, get everything ready until you can re-rent it. So that would be the third income. So by the time you retire, that house will be paid off. Of course, your home will too, and then you can have that as another income source. The great thing about rental property right now is it's taxed lower than traditional income. I'm not sure the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know it's much less than if you were working. So you got $1,000 a month. That's an extra $12,000 a year. You have to pay taxes on that. Plus you have to pay taxes and stuff on the house. But over 30 years, the rent value is going to go up. So, or you could just sell it, and you can have that money as well to live off from. If it's $100,000 now, it's probably going to be $175,000, $200,000 in 30 years, maybe more. All right, and you'll have that as well to live off from if you just would rather sell it, and that way you didn't have to deal with it. And the great thing is, with the exception of your down payment, the renters will pretty much pay off the house. You just got to make sure when you pick your tenants, it's a very good tenant. Do your background checks. Make sure they've had consistent work for 2-3 years at least. Maybe another job so that they can afford to pay the rent. All right, so let's do a recap real quick on ways to prepare for retirement. One, the 401k. All right, it's gonna be you can't invest outside the 401k to get the employee match. The market's not gonna grow fast enough to do that. So your 401k up to the max your employer will match. Secondary is do 10% of your bring home income into a Roth IRA. And third is get you a rental property that will eventually pay itself off by the time you retire, and you can live on that extra income or sell the house and have that money to live off from. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you will like and subscribe the video, and thank you for watching.